This is my ENME351 final project. It's an instant coffee maker. There's 3 components. This first one is the kettle assembly, and it consists of an electric kettle dangling from this rod, and it's attached to this motor which lowers and raises it when this thermistor, which is constantly reading input, determines that the water is boiling. So it would lower it and then pour water in and then reel it back up once it's done. The next one is this coffee dispenser, and it's a PVC pipe which I put instant coffee powder in, and there's a stepper motor glued to it with the lid on there. So once the kettle's done pouring water, the stepper motor will open up the lid and dump coffee in there and then close back up. And the last one is this stirring mechanism, which is a DC motor with a spoon attached to the shaft. And once the coffee is done dispensing, this DC motor will rotate for 15 seconds and stir up the coffee. So this is my circuits. On top of my Arduino, I have the Adafruit motor shield, and connected to that I have the 2 DC motors that I use to stir and move the kettle. And that motor shield is hooked up to the 12-volt supply to power the motors. And the stepper motor, which is the one that we use in class, is powered by a separate 5-volt power supply, and that's hooked up to an H-bridge like we used in class to control it. And lastly, the thermistor is hooked up to a simple voltage divider with a 10K resistor to measure the input. So now I'm going to demonstrate my project. I just poured the water in and secured the lid. Now I'm going to turn on the kettle, and we can look at my processing output afterwards while we're waiting for it to boil. So the kettle's turned on, and it'll take a couple minutes. So let's cover my processing output. On the left hand side of the screen, what's displayed right now is kind of temperature gauge that is in the shape of a thermometer. It's reading input from the thermistor, and every time the value passes a certain increment on the way to the boiling temperature, the gauge is going to fill up, and then once it hits the top, we know that it's boiling. And then the right hand side, as you'll see, once the coffee making will begin, every time a certain step occurs, like pouring the water or dispensing coffee, it will print out in color-coded large text on the right hand side which step it has completed and what step it's on. And at the end, I'll let you know that the coffee's made. So now we'll just wait for it to boil, and we can see it in action. So now it reached the correct temperature, so machine's actuating everything. And now the coffee make process is done. We'll take a look at it from a different angle in the next clip.